the guts thing is going up the first time. I mean, even like just the first. I mean, the first time you ever did like an open mic or a show, you just you know what the heck's gonna happen, I guess. But
you can't expect to go out and be funny.
What's the problem is that people put that expectation on that. Like, oh, if I'm not funny this time. It's I see people, they'll do an open mic and, if it's their first time ever doing it and it's just like, oh, no, you did good. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't get a lot of laughs. Like, well,
it's an open
what
mic.
do you expect? Like, not even that. It's your first time actually telling jokes on, it's one thing being funny, but it's another thing telling jokes. It's, you can't expect, to just shout out Shakespeare your first time on a stage.
And it's funny because I did the Broadway comedy competition last year.
Yeah.
The set is still the same set, modified. Some jokes pulled out. Some jokes,
Yeah, I'm sure polished and
And I'm watching myself the first time around, and I'm speeding through the fucking jokes. And I watch myself this time around. I did a 5-minute set, but I only did 3 minutes of my actual set.
Yeah. In
the 5 minutes that they gave me, but you could just see the movement on stage, the way I was telling the joke. It was fucking night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day.
Because you're more comfortable.
8 months to 2 years is fucking like...
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's about the growth.
And I keep and I talk to a lot of the comics, a couple of up-and-coming comics. I'm like, they don't want to... I'm like, you got to get a set and just keep doing it. And they don't want to do that. And I'm like, I'm telling you got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's... Follow the rules.
And it's like you can, people don't understand. Like you can write the joke and you can keep modifying the joke. You gotta do that. That's what you have to get. Keep telling that joke, polish the joke, get it, get it to where it's actually crisp and funny and quick.
Yeah.
So you can get to the next joke and make them laugh again for the next joke.
See, Frank, I had spoken to comedian Frankie Pace.
There you go.
On the phone, and I was at the time I was looking for management, and he was like, "How long have you been doing comedy?" I was like, 2 years. He's like, "You don't need a manager right now."
No.
And I was trying to tell my friend that the other night because he's new in the comedy. He's only been doing it maybe 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And he did Governor's Friday, and he called me. He's like, "Yeah, some guy wants to manage me. He wants to get me headlining. Me headlining across, the East Coast or whatever." He's like, "What do headlining comics make?" And I was like, "I don't know. How much can you draw?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, how many people are going to come see you perform?"
Yeah.
I was like, because a comic could go up on stage and get $1,500 for an hour. Or a half an hour. I was like,
and you have to have that material.
But that comic, there are people buying tickets to see that comic.
Yeah,
they put his face up. He's going to be here this day. People are buying.
Yeah, Sebastian Maniscalco is filling up,
exactly,
clubs and arenas because he's Sebastian Maniscalco, not because people are like, oh, let's go see comedy.
Yeah,
nobody's doing that. Nobody's like waking up in the morning like, oh, I want to go see a comedy show. Who cares where it is? It's at, who cares who it is?
We'll just go to an open mic and watch the open mic.
Unless you're getting the free tickets, you get in the mail and whatnot,
or the free tickets governors like to give away.
Well, yeah.
They do that a lot.
Yeah, but that's.
But they do it for good comics.
That's how they make their money.
They do it for good comics.
They do it for good comics, but that's how they make their money. They make they don't care about the door as much as they do
about the food and the drinks.
The food. They're a restaurant. They're a bar and restaurant.
Of course.
And
they just happen to have a stage.
Coming in there spending $50-$60 a head. They fill
at 200 people.
Yeah, 200 people in there. That's where they're making their money.
Of course, yeah. No.
When the reason you're not getting Sebastian Maniscalco tickets or Colin Quinn tickets or something like somebody big. I don't know why I said Colin Quinn. I mean, he's big enough. He's big enough. But the reason why you're not getting free tickets is because they're making the door. They're getting the money from the door.
You're not getting Pete Correale tickets for free.
I mean, they're paying a headliner at Governor's, but nothing compared to what Sebastian's going to make.
Of course.
They're still.
He's filling out arenas right now. He's filling out. He just did.
He's big.
He just packed out, I think, a 53,000.
He did. A few years ago, he did Governors. He did like a whole week of Governors. Yeah, so it was probably about like 10 to 14 shows sold out. What are they, like 350? I think at Governors, the big one.
Not McGuire's.
Not McGuire's. Not brokerage. The actual. Governors.
I don't know what.
I think it's about like 300 something. I think it's about 300. So he did about 10 to 14 shows at capacity.
Yeah, full. Maxed out.
So it's like wow, and then now he's doing arenas. Jeez.
Yeah, I think they said the last because I listened to his podcast. Him and Pete Correale have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think he said the last arena was 53,000 people, something like that. I'm like, he's getting to fucking
That's
Andrew Dice
huge.
Clay level.
Yeah.
Which he's funny, and I like him.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's getting like Andrew Dice Clay numbers is astonishing to me.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he's his style of comedy casts a big net.
He's very animated.
That's the thing. He's very animated. He's very comical. He's very. I mean, you know.
And he appeals to the
he's
Italian
very
Americans too.
He's very physically animated, and that's the thing. He's casting that big net. He's got that. His material can, you know, if you're 60, you'd like his material. If you're 20 or 30, you'd like his material. I mean, he's not doing, like, you know, I mean, he's not doing, you know, crazy, you know, like a Louis C.K. type set. You know, that's or Bill Burr. That's a little more like, you know, this is my little, you know, style, my little avenue of comedy and whatnot. It's gonna hit you hard, or you're gonna either love it or you're gonna hate it. You know, I mean, they're still making tons of money, but they're not gonna make Sebastian Maniscalco. You know who rakes, and you wouldn't think about it because you probably don't love him. But it's Jeff Dunham. Jeff Dunham. You love Jeff Dunham?
Yeah,
okay,
like
good. We can stay friends.
We're actually going to go. He's coming to Nassau Coliseum in September.
Yeah.
It's on my son's birthday, but my wife wants to go.
But if you ask somebody, like, you know, like if you ask a comic,
they'll go,
who's your favorite comedian? No one's going to say Jeff Dunham. The French what? No. But he's and he does better overseas than he does in the States.
Oh yeah, he did a little special on Comedy Central about him going overseas to Saudi Arabia and all these other. Yeah. And the only thing he wasn't allowed to do in a couple of the countries was he wasn't allowed to do Ahmed the Dead Terrorist.
Yeah.
So he turned him to French.
Because they would have made the whole crowd the dead.
Well, because they're all Muslims.
They would have blown that thing up.
Yeah, so he made him French, and he still had the accent, but he made him Ahmed the French terrorist or whatever it was.
Great.
Yeah,
that's great.
Put him in one of those little berets and put a fucking mustache on him.
That's.
But you have to respect Jeff Dunham because the guy's writing his own comedy material, and then he's writing comedy material for 5 other acts that are really him.
Yeah, I mean, it's all
really him. But
I mean, I think it's all the same. I mean, it's all his. You know,
but he has to write that dialogue.
Yeah,
he's basically writing he's sitting down and writing an hour-long sitcom.
Yeah,
is what he's pretty much doing, and that's not the fucking easiest thing to do.
No,
you know, it's hard trying to write a half hour of comedy, much less me trying to write me and then my counterpart, who might be a little dummy that's sitting on my. You know, now I got to write for this guy too. Like, fuck. But I like him, and people have gotten on me about it. Like, really, like, isn't he a little childish? I'm like, no, it's fucking hilarious.
It's fun though. It's
I was like,
it doesn't have to be.
It's
doesn't have to be the edgiest thing, you know, the dark, edgy.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I don't love Bill Burr. Like, I love Bill Burr, but I like Jeff Dunham.
Absolutely.
People get mad when I say I like Carlos Mencia. They're like, really? You like the fucking? I was like, yeah, I know he stole jokes, but you know what? He was fucking funny.
He steals them in a funny manner.
Mind of Mencia was a great show. That shit fucking cracked me up, and I used to like how he used to come at George Lopez all the time. And fucking, that's hilarious to me. I'm like, you know, is he a fucking hack for fucking stealing jokes? Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he still had a fucking moment where it was like, yeah, he was a fucking funny guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'd go see. He was at Governor's recently. I asked I asked a couple of my friends that I usually go to comedy. And none of them are comics.
Yeah.
But I usually go to comedy shows with these guys.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go see Carlos Mencia, and they were like, fuck him, joke stealing, hack him.
Wow.
I was like,
they're Joe Rogan
you're not
fans.
even a comic.
That's because they're Joe Rogan fans.
Well, I'm a Rogan fan too. I love Rogan too.
Yeah, Rogan. I
was like, you're not even a fucking comic, and you're getting upset.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, well, you know, fucking, and they are Rogan fans, which is Rogan exposed him. I'm like, yeah, so what?
Yeah.
He got exposed. And you know what? He
weathered
the storm, and now he came back.
You ever watch those videos on YouTube, whatever, like the whole thing?
I heard the audio of Rogan going off on it.
Oh, the actual audio, the actual one. Yeah, that one's good too.
And there's another one in the middle of the comedy store.
There's another one. I think it's like the same day, or whatever. It was like afterwards. They're just hanging out, and at the bar area, and Joe Rogan's still going off on it, and someone's like videotaping on their camera phone, and and he's like calling out other comics, like, that are right there, like, didn't you know he stole this? Didn't you know he stole that? And they're all like, yeah, he stole that. He stole. Actually, no, that's my joke. He stole my joke. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. And Rogan's like,
it's just the most hilarious thing because like Joe Rogan, like he's the guy that had the balls to just.
No, yeah, I heard the actual audio of him and fucking Carlos like going at it in the Comedy Store. Where Carlos is like, "Why are you on my dick, man? Why are you on my dick?"
It was like a thing,
you, bro. You're stealing jokes.
Yeah, it was like Rogan was the host, and And at the end, I don't know, he said something, and Martinez was like, "Why you have the problem?" And then they gave Rogan a mic. Yeah, and then it was just over from there.
He went off.
Rogan just went off on him,
And actually, that got him kicked out of the Comedy Store.
I bet
for a while.
I bet
because Mitzi was making money off Carlos. Yeah. So he ended up not being at the Comedy Store for a while, and then he just came back in the recent years. I guess everything changed over there.
Yeah.
But I heard the whole thing, and I was like, Rogan was the only one that had the fucking balls.
Yeah,
and that's what I got into.
Like you never hear like Artie Shafir. It's not like Artie Shafir calls. Carlos Mencia, Ari Shafir. I said Artie. Artie Shafir calls Carlos Mencia out on stealing his joke. No, it's Joe Rogan calls. It's like, and that's he's the guy that had the balls.
I have a little beef with a booker.
Joe Rogan will kick his ass.
I have a beef with a booker out in the city. Me and him. I actually really don't have any problem with him. He's got a problem with me, and he wants to fucking fight me. Like he's threatening me.
Like physically fight you?
He's threatening me and shit. And I tried to explain to him. I was like, listen, I know you're used to comics. And most comics aren't fighters. The reason why they're comics is because of shit that happened to them when they were kids or whatever.
There's some comics out there.
Oh no, there's comics
beat the living crap out of you.
Absolutely. But what I was like, you're used to these people being very like standoffish. I was like, if you come at me on some stupid shit, I was like, I'm not gonna back away from you.
And it's like physical, like he
physically wants to fight. He said, like, physically wants to fight.
I'm gonna F your shit up.
Yep. Like, he's like, I can't wait to see you. I'm gonna fuck you up.
Really?
I was like, wow. Okay. I was like, okay.
How does it get to that? Like, where do we get to that?
Like, well,
I mean, I don't, don't explain.
Somebody had put a big rant about this guy.
Yeah.
And I went on. And I had commented on the rant. Like, I don't know this particular individual.
So you didn't even know the guy? Like
I talked to him once. He booked me for a show. I got a flat tire on the way out to Manhattan. Couldn't do the show.
Yeah.
And after that, he took me off his friends list. Like, we never spoke again.
Yeah.
So I said I never met this guy. And I was like, I don't know him. I was like, but for everything I read on the internet, I can write this guy's unofficial autobiography.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm starting to get a picture of who it is.
He got pissed.
Yeah.
Hits me up on somebody else's feed. Starts going back and forth with me.
Okay.
Then it ends up going to other comics.
Yeah.
That I'm associated with. And one of the comics was already working with him. He kicked this comic. He won't work with this comic anymore.
Okay.
So I made fun of him on that particular comic's feed.
Okay.
I repeated exactly what he said.
So you were pretty much fighting...
I was
amongst other people's,
I was
amongst other people's feeds. You were kind of finding each other. It was like,
and he came in and was like, "You're a fucking blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Bro, wow." I was like, "I'm too old to be fighting." I was like, "If you try to fucking do anything to me, I'm just gonna pick up the closest object that's heavy and metal, and I'm gonna hit you with it."
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna scrap at you, but I'm not one of these fucking comics that you're gonna fucking run up on and you think you're gonna bully me.
Yeah.
He's like, "It ain't happening, guy. I'm not Ari Shafir."
That's crazy. That's
I'm not Ari Shafir. I'm more like Joe Rogan. Don't let the fucking fatness fucking.
Yeah. That's
I spent years being a white kid in hip hop. Okay, when white kids in hip hop.
I have a lot of pent up rage.
When white kids in hip hop were not very popular. All right, so don't think that I'm afraid of in any way of a physical confrontation. I was I don't want a physical confrontation. I don't want to be fighting with anybody.
Yeah.
It's not who I am anymore. It's not part of my. It's not part of the lifestyle that I want to live.
So you got called out on Facebook.
I got called out on Facebook.
You got like Facebook bullied.
And the funny part was the whole time I stayed respectful. I was very nice.
Yeah, well, that's what you have to. That's what pisses them off more. That's the best thing you do.
Have a nice day. Don't
especially have a nice day. It's the best.
Enjoy your holiday. I was really like.
You seem like a stand-up guy.
I
don't say that.
Very standoffish, but I was like in my head. I'm like, I'm not going to go back and forth
murder
with you. Yeah, I was like, 'cause that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say something stupid. And then we do meet and something happens, and now it's digitized on fucking Facebook. Look, he threatened to fucking do. I was like, I don't need none of that. I was like, if we see each other, we see each other. I was like, the likelihood of us seeing each other are slim. I don't do that many shows in the city. And when I do, they're not in the club that you're in.
Yeah. Well, you already got the guy that'll book you for that.
Yeah,
you're good with.
I already have bookers to do Greenwich, Dangerfields, and Broadway.
Yeah.
What else do I need? You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Obviously, I'd want to. Gotham.